Hey there, welcome to our Tuesday morning devotional. We hope that you are following along in our reading because today's reading is going to take us up right to the promised land. If you've been reading, you'll see that Moses and the Israelites have been traveling through the desert. And so that's what's happening up to this point. They are so close to entering the promised land. But to take the promised land doesn't mean that they're just going to get to walk into it. No, they're actually going to have to go to war for it. There are people living in that land, and so they're going to have to go to war. They're going to have to take the land. God promised the land, but they have to fight for it. So in today's chapter, Numbers 32, the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh go to Moses with a proposition. They propose that their tribes are allowed to stay on this side in the land of Jazer and Gilead instead of going over to the promised land. After all, they say, this land is suitable for livestock, and we have livestock, they say. And Moses doesn't like this. He says, this is exactly what your fathers did when they went to spy on the land. See, this is a callback to Joshua and Caleb and the other faithless spies when they looked at the land and they said, the faithless spies said, oh, they're like giants. And Joshua and Caleb were the ones who said, we can take it. So Moses accuses these leaders of trying to get out of going to war. He says that this will be a discouragement for the rest of the tribes. And he says, just like your fathers tried to discourage the people, saying that there were giants in the land and that there's no way we can defeat them. He reminds them that this is exactly why they got 40 years in the wilderness and why their fathers are not the ones crossing into the promised land. He was really reading them the riot act, right? But the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh agree, and they agree to go to war, but not only go to a war, they agree to lead the charge. They will stand in front, and they will ensure that the rest of the Israelites have a place of rest. So that's the story that we read today, and now I want to just share with you some observations that I have from that reading. I noticed that just when you're about to have a victory, a breakthrough, or a growth spurt, whether it's in your faith, your work, or your family, there will be drama. Drama comes in the form of fear, it comes in relational struggles, and it comes in the form of discouragement. And when that happens, I have 3 thoughts for you. The first one is, 1, keep the vision and the goal in front. Moses was an incredible leader who didn't get distracted from the mission ahead. He didn't let these tribes wreck the mission. Instead, he called them to the mission. So keep the goal in front. Secondly, call out drama just as a part of the process. Simply recognizing that this is an opportunity to get distracted from your purpose and saying no to it has great power. I can't tell you how many times in my own life I've had to have a conversation with myself that goes something like this. This is what you've been praying for and asking for. So don't let fear or the desire to avoid a fight keep you from the very thing that God has called you to do. It's a reminder of myself that this is a part of the process. And finally, don't avoid the fight. Just like these tribes went ahead and went to war to have God fulfill his purposes, to have victory, breakthrough, and grow for us, we have to fight for it. We have to rely on a vision from God, his power, and his promises. See, victory, breakthrough, and growth are not easy, but they are worth the fight. So don't get distracted. When you're most discouraged, that's when it usually means that you're going to have a breakthrough. So stay engaged in the battle for what God has promised, whether you're battling for peace, the ability to say no to temptation, or even to grow the kingdom. If you stay engaged in the battle, you will see results. So let us know how we can encourage you in those steps of faith today, and let me go ahead and pray for you. Father God, I thank you for your word that encourages us that though your promises are great, we need to step into them, Lord. And so I thank you for this example of where we won't get discouraged by the drama that's around us, by fear, relational struggles, or just a lack of willpower, Lord, but that when we stay engaged, you will win the battle for us and we can walk in your promises. I pray that is true in your life today. So thanks for joining us.